I know my mother didn't text you. You know
Freaking
why?
senses,
She
monster.
knows
She
like four
Snapchatted me.
numbers. I'm sorry? What did you say?
What?
I think your mom could count higher than that, Ray.
What? Schmiegel can count to 1,000,000, okay? Schmiegel's amazing. I'm just saying that she wouldn't
No.
lower herself to Jeremy. Then.
You said she knows 4 numbers. I said I think she can count higher than that. Ray.
She has 4 numbers in her phone, and his isn't one of them.
I only know my number. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know any
That's
numbers.
because you have nobody to call, Jeremy.
That's
Who you
because
gonna
his
call?
hands stop picking. Stop
Shut
responding.
up! Stop. Full circle. All these puns. All right, done. The circular pop culture jerk session over here. Why do we keep talking about jerking off?
A 17-year-long pop culture jerk session.
Oh my god.
That'd be the most action I've gotten in my life.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Invite to Party podcast. I'm Jeremy, and I'm joined by my 3 amigos, Bryan, Dave, and Ray. Hola.
I'm Bryan. I'm the one
Mi
with the
amor.
beard.
Hey, you guys.
Wow.
Is that a Goonies
All right.
reference?
All right. Another
It
reference.
is.
Hey,
Okay.
and- yeah, I'm here too. All right.
And,
He lost Dave, man, before
Ray
we
is
started.
here. All right, so we're gonna do, just a super quick. I finally finished not only Resident Evil Village, but I finished a game. Like I've beat it all the way to the end.
All the way to
Finally,
the end.
it's been a while. I almost had to
To-
force myself there a little bit,
To
but we'll
completion.
do
Yep.
a yes to completion. Just keeping with the theme. I like that.
That's right.
Yeah, so I finally beat it last night, and it's actually, I just realized, the first Resident Evil game I've ever beaten in my entire life, and basically the only one I've played, because I played Biohazard a little
Really?
bit, but I've never played any other Resident Evils.
What? Really?
Mm-hmm.
How is
Hey,
how is that
to
a
be
thing?
fair, like I'm with Jeremy on this. Like at the time, I have beaten like the original ones, but that like fixed camera, weird control scheme sucks,
Yeah.
and
I hate it.
a lot of people can't get into it.
I
So
never liked it.
I don't blame Jeremy for not wanting. These new first person ones are so much
Yeah.
more immersive.
So good.
So
good.
you know, they definitely take it to another level as far as I'm concerned.
Let me bring up my notes
I
really
think
quick.
I played 1 through 4 or 5, maybe. Whichever
I
one.
fell off.
Whichever one started off in Africa.
That was
4.
5.
Because I played the demo of that one.
Yeah, that.
4 was Leon. 5 was Chris.
Also, I remember the optics of that one because it was just a white dude just gunning down a bunch of black zombies. Well, that was great.
Yeah.
I remember all the articles about that. That was funny. Then they changed it a little bit to just add a few white zombies here and there.
It was actually a
There you
really
go.
cool game.
White Zombie's
lot
a
of-
great band.
Anyway, the tangent. This is like the timeline in Loki. Like there's fucking tangents all over the place. Just like, I gotta chop them off at the.
Oh, isn't that why we
cusp
started this
or whatever.
podcast?
Yeah, but like we just want to focus on this part just really quick so we can get out of the way.
Fuck us.
What? Anyway,
That was a Mallrats quote. So
I had a lot of fun. I really liked it. Actually, I was trying to think if there's a game that came out this year that I liked less than this game. And off the top of my head, I couldn't think of all the games I played this year. But I think it's my favorite game of the year so far.
Really?
I hope I don't regret that. Or like remember like, oh yeah, you played this game. Yeah, because I think a lot of the games I've been playing actually came out last year.
As long as you said so far, because Halo hasn't come out yet.
Oh yeah. So this fall and this summer is super loaded. If you want to hear all our thoughts on this summer and fall, check out our last episode where we talk about it. Yeah, that'll be episode 35. So yeah, I had a lot of fun. Favorite game of the year so far. I had to check to make sure, but this game has ray tracing in it, and you notice it, especially like it looks great. The castle is beautiful, like just going through the hallways and stuff, like the candlelight and the lighting. You especially notice, I think, in cutscenes, like with the clothing, it somehow looks like soft,
sheer and so
like it looks like you could like feel it the way it like absorbs the light and like kind of reflects it a little bit, but not that much. It's just like lit up a little bit, but you can see it almost like absorbing the light. It's really cool. And then there'll be like a zipper that's like shiny, like right next to it. So ray tracing, like fantastic use of it. I really liked that a lot. Just the seeing ray tracing in motion because Medium had it, but it was like, I I really like the gameplay. You kind of feel like you're an amateur. The guns felt cool, and they kept adding like new ones in. It gets a little ridiculous with some of the guns or explosives, but in like a funny way. Like I never felt like I was taken out of it. Like you kind of just accept like the ridiculousness
Who
of
do
the
you play
universe
as?
and things like that. A new guy named Ethan from 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's not to spoil, but there's characters that make appearances in this one from the series, and they tie it in a few different times to the rest of the universe. I Wikipedia'd it, so I know that. I didn't know that off the top of my head. Let's see, Dave, what do you think? Just your general thoughts.
Well, I just got done beating 7 as well, so I've beat 7 and 8 within the last month or so. There's definitely a better quality graphics wise to 8 than 7. Plus I like the setting more in 8. I think that the snowy mountaintops with the decrepit village, kind of Eastern European feeling, was really cool. I also like the aesthetics of the villains and stuff better.
Oh yeah,
And 7, like it's like mold monsters that are all like they
Yeah,
all look like Venom,
hillbillies.
like
Yeah.
Venom if he couldn't form completely, basically. Whereas these villains all like they're like feral werewolf zombie hybrids, and like the big dudes with the armor where you have to hit them in the chest.
Oh, yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
the little generator
The
in their,
factory.
by their heart. Yeah, like they're just the overall the enemy design. I liked the aesthetic a lot more. I also enjoyed the variations of the different types of boss battles you had.
I was about to say that too. Yeah.
There was big bosses, small boss, there were all different sizes that you had to beat certain ways, and you had to kind of figure out their weaknesses and whatnot. There was a bit of that in 7, like you had to kill the dad with the car in the garage by running into him repeatedly and stuff. But I think this took it to another level. The carryover, like the continuation of the story, is really good. Where it kind of like starts out in 7 with Ethan like not knowing what the hell's going on and showing up at that Chainsaw Massacre house basically and trying to work his way through. You get like the first half of things. I played 8 first though, so I had a little bit of a recap, but I don't think I even really needed that because it just seemed like a full cohesive story from here's these people living, having a decent life, into utter chaos overnight because Chris Redfield shows up. That's right at the beginning of the game, so it's not a spoiler.
So you don't need to play 7 or 6 or anything to get 8.
I mean, if you want to get the whole story complete, even though 8 does stand alone decently, and it has a recap video at the beginning if you want to watch it.
Okay.
If you want the whole story, play 7 and 8. I think it was worth it. 7's not that long of a game. I think both of them are about 10 hours if you blow through them.
Yeah, it took me 9 in the second one, or Village.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then there's replayability too, because you can go back. You can, after you unlock stuff, like after you beat the game in 8, you get points for all the like achievements that you did throughout the game that are kind of hidden. They don't tell you about them, but after you beat the game, at least they don't tell you straight out about them. There might be a menu about like which ones you can do or whatever originally, but I didn't look at that. I just played the game, and I had enough to unlock unlimited ammo with the handgun, a higher difficulty level, and a different. Yeah, I got the submachine gun.
Yeah, so sick.
I unlocked infinite ammo with the handgun and the new game mode. Which was only 10 points or whatever. I think it's pretty much a freebie. I didn't play it yet either, but I unlocked it. So those were I was able to unlock 3 things just by playing through once on normal.
That's cool.
You didn't play on the max difficulty, did you?
No, because I kind of wanted to just experience the story, and I'd never played a Resident Evil before. And playing the demo, I was kind of like the aiming was like kind of funky.
Right.
I will say that once I beat it, I loaded back in at the max difficulty that you unlock. I couldn't even beat the first werewolf that you run into. I couldn't kill him.
Shit, really?
Yeah, like the difference, and that's with infinite ammo on my pistol. So the difference in difficulty between normal and that like outrageous unlockable difficulty is insane. So
Cool. That's
if
very
you
cool.
want a good story, play it on normal. It's not too difficult. Even I, who am not a great gamer, I'm an average gamer at best. I made it through it.
He's better than
And
Yeah,
no,
he's
no.
better than
I made it through it with relative ease, but I wouldn't want to play it on the difficulty higher if the next one above that is any indication, because I think I would have gotten frustrated partway through and I wouldn't have enjoyed the story as much. I think you should play it once on normal, and then if you make it through it and you really like it, I'd play it again and see what else you can unlock. Then kind of go for challenge mode. Like
Yeah.
okay, this is the different points that I can get to unlock all the different, because there's figures, there's behind the scenes sketches, like concept art. There's all kinds of stuff that you can unlock with those points at the end of it.
I unlocked the figure for the tall vampire lady.
Of course you
Nice.
did.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
You're so thirsty.
Yeah, I really like the designs for the bosses. They kind of all have their own different thing. There's like basically different quadrants of the world that are all different. So it does get some pretty ridiculous boss fights, and then kind of like over the top. Thinking of the Heisenberg boss fight, it's just like, all right, whatever. I just accepted it. I was like, okay, fine, right, yeah, we're doing this now. But it never like felt like it was like game breaking. It just kind of fits in with like the ridiculousness of the whole thing. It didn't overstay its welcome. The only time I felt like it dragged a little bit was in the factory. I was kind of like, all right, we can do this now. Like maybe if there's like
there was a couple extra floors on there that we probably didn't need, and you constantly have to go back to the elevator and go back to I don't want to spoil anything, but there's a lot of
there's a lot of
returning
remix
to
anything. Like if you go back through a second time and you do it you think they'll add more things on those levels that you didn't think had anything on them? That could possibly be a reason.
There's a lot of stuff I didn't find. I didn't 100% the game by any means. I missed doing the one labyrinth. I had the ball for it, but I just completely missed like going into the castle and actually completing the labyrinth. I completed all the rest of them, but I just whiffed on that. So I know there's specifically one thing that I definitely have to go back. But then there's the goats that you have to destroy. Well, you don't have to destroy, but you can. Yeah, I missed a couple here and there because I got kind of into the story and just kind of I was beelining instead of really taking my time and looking at every nook and cranny behind every little thing. And
I probably like 98% of it. Yeah, I agree. I think playing on standard mode, it like keeps the story moving. Like it's just hard enough where like it's not like there's some like scary parts, like maybe like jump scary or like surprising kind of things, but most of it I think comes from like the tension of like you have a gun so you can obviously kill them, but sometimes there's like 3 dudes and you're just like shooting and then you're like shit, I gotta reload, and then they're like coming at you and you're like fuck, I gotta reload, or like you're fighting like an enemy that's unkillable and then like they're like bearing down on you and you're like sprinting away, you're like oh my god, it's like right behind me, it's gonna kill me. So I like that tension where other games, if you get like a gun, like a horror game, you're like all right, I'm just gonna shoot the bad thing, so like I'm not scared anymore. Condemned Criminal Origins is the one I'm thinking of, but yeah, and this, it kept the tension up, so it wasn't 100% reliant on like jump scares or anything stupid like that. It still keeps the tension. Towards the end, it's like not quite as scary, but
unkillable enemy that not only is tension filled but also super creepy in general.
The dollhouse?
No, the where you have to hide from it and then back.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one is
that whole stage
legitimately horrifying. Like
yeah,
it
is.
So,
yeah.
So there's definitely like there's creepy to complete horror scares. It runs the gamut. I think the overall ambiance of the game though really lends itself to that off kilter, like feeling just off, just a little bit unease.
It's a great game. I like it a lot. They just announced at E3 that there's going to be DLC, so they started working on that now. So it's not going to be available or ready to go for a while yet. I'm assuming, but I'm definitely going to play it like right away. I probably won't play the game again, just due to like there's too much stuff to play, and I kind of like the feeling of wanting more instead of like a lot of the games I've been playing where it's like, all right, are we almost to the end? Come on, guys, like, let's go. But this game I feel like is a great length. A lot of fun, great story. There's definitely some twists in there that would have hit more if I played 7, but it still felt like surprising and good. I think
it felt big. It felt emotional, like, right?
The very end.
Okay.
Yeah, it was good. You get
Resident Evil has always been very good. at like a gothic horror type of feel to it, even though a lot of people point towards modern horror with it, but it really doesn't. It's a lot of the, if you think of Umbrella as Dr. Frankenstein and the world is their monster that they created, it does have a lot of gothic horror tropes in it, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I look forward to the DLC and the next game that they kind of set up, which
Cool.
I think will be really cool, and that's a nice little setup for the characters and
go.
everything like that. But Dave, are you
All
prepared
right.
to give this game a score out of 10?
Yes, I am.
Because I already know what mine is. I wrote it down. I'm going to delete the question mark.
I'll let you go first.
I think it's the best game I played this year so far, and I give it an 8.5.
That's a very fair. That's a very fair score. I was thinking 8.2, so we're very close. I think it's definitely a top game of the year for me. I really like adventure, like RPG elements where you can like kind of pick. In this case, it's more equipment based stats that you can up.
That is really cool.
But I like those kind of elements. I like actiony stuff where especially the first third person, like either a Tomb Raider, Uncharted, or something like this. I like this because it crossed that genre between those Uncharted games or Tomb Raider and Call of Duty. It kind of puts you more in the action. You feel like the character rather than you're controlling the character.
Exactly, that's how I feel too.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed it overall. The whole package, I think that a little bit more length to it, and I didn't really. There was a quarter of the game that I didn't really care for as much.
Fish.
Yeah, okay. Exactly. Yeah. The rest of it was very cohesive. Yeah, that was the weakest quarter. With a little cleanup there, little changes. I mean, it was great. The puzzly aspect of it was great, but the overall look and everything and feel, it just didn't feel like it was part of the game. Especially because you were working with electricity and things. It was just kind of off. It didn't fit with the motif. But other than that, 8.2, very solid game. I would definitely play through it. Again, if there was nothing else coming out, but we'll see.
Play it now before everything else comes out. It's only 9 hours. You can play it in a couple days, like next weekend, and then before the deluge of summer games and fall games hits.
I got that. If I could suggest to people that haven't played 7 or 8, you can buy both of them. I think for $60-$70 on the store. So you get 2 games for basically the price of one, and that comes with all the DLC for 7. So you're looking at
the lost games,
almost 3 games. Plus, if you download it digitally, you also get the new multiplayer, a PvP game that's going to be coming out that you can preload. Yeah. So
Reverse.
So there's something to think about there. So for $70, worth it. You definitely get your money's worth. So. I mean, you're talking about 20 hours of gameplay for $70. $4 an hour to play.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, that's how I break it down.
I was gonna say, versus a movie.
You break things down granularly like that. I don't. It's whether I enjoy it or not. I don't give a shit.
I think about it sometimes.
Well, no, if I think about when I buy a board game, right, like a big box board game, it's $100. If I get one play out of that, that was $100 an hour. That's not really worth it. If I could get 4 plays out of it, it's $25 an hour. If I could beat my salary, it was worth buying. You know what I mean? As far as, but I that being said, you don't want to see my shelf of shame over there with the stuff still in shrink because I'm losing money on board games all the time, bro.
You don't have to tell me. I just got 2 new ones I haven't been able to play yet.
Hey, I blame COVID. Someday when we're retired, we're all the old folks home together, we'll be able to play all these games.
Out. Just whip it out.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna be working till
and we'll play board games too. We'll whip it out and play board games.
Rocking.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's our partial. Half of us reviewed Resident Evil Village. 8.5 from me. 8.2 from Dave. And the other 2 are just 10s waiting to happen. Am I right, guys? Heartwarming. Anyway, on to the thing I was thinking about, and it started to. I mean, obviously, other people are thinking about it because it's a pretty good question. But so I'm just going to outline the basic premise or whatever. Halo announced their multiplayer. It's free to play already, confirmed. And then they further elaborated on like things like their battle pass and how things are going to work. Basically, you'll be able to earn cosmetics through like through things in the game, like achievements, like you get 10,000 kills or whatever. Events. So there's like a special event. Like the first one's going to be you get armor from inspired by the Halo game Reach. There's going to be seasonal stuff, and then you can purchase stuff like just piecemeal. Halo 5 was a like loot box kind of system, which kind of sucked. But so they're not doing that anymore.
Well,
the biggest thing though
now in like half the
most
world.
of the European countries. Yeah. But yeah, the biggest thing was they announced their plan for the Battle Pass, which is pretty reminiscent of Master Chief Collection, which has a seasonal Battle Pass every time. You don't pay for it for Master Chief Collection. This one you'll pay for, but the biggest difference is you keep your Battle Pass the entire time. So, for example, in COD, there's a 2-month season. You get a Battle Pass. You can work on the Battle Pass for just that 2 months. Once it's over, in my case, like if you get to level 30 and it's the end of the season and it's over, that's it. You can't earn it again. You stuck at level 30. All the things you could have gotten, you didn't get that you technically paid for. You didn't get. But in Halo, you buy the Battle Pass and then you can work on it. Season ends, cool. You can still work on it, or you can buy the new one. Or say like Ray is like, I want to play Halo Infinite, and it's 6 months later. He can go back and buy the first Battle Pass and play it. He doesn't have to be like stuck with whatever's the current one is.
Well, you go in and you activate which battle pass you want to use at the time.
Yeah, you're like, I want to work on season 2 battle pass. Yeah. So you can only work on one at a time, but once you bought it, it's yours. You just work on it over time. Right. The current model, like the one that's kind of like COD, is how it works in like Destiny 2, COD. There's something else, Fortnite.
Yeah, I think this Halo, like, I'm not the biggest fan of Halo. I'm not like lining up day one to buy this game or anything because I don't have the nostalgia you guys have. But like to me, even me as a non-fan, can admit that sounds like a lot better and more player-friendly approach to a battle pass system than you didn't earn it, you lose it. Thanks for your cash. See you next 2 months. You know.
Well, even now, I brought it up because on Apex, like the Apex Reddit, the Destiny Reddit, there's already like top voted posts being like, that sounds dope. When are you guys doing that for our game that we want to play, Apex and Destiny and COD and stuff? And then on top of the free to play, so there's going to be a new COD, like Avenger or whatever. It's like a World War II alternate history thing. Presumably going to be $60. There's Battlefield that's going to be $70 plus battle passes for these games that you pay for, with presumably the same model they've been using. But then Halo comes out and it's like, oh yeah, it's free to play for everybody, PC, console, whatever. You buy battle passes, but you get to keep it forever and you get cosmetics. Do you think this will change anything at all? Like competing?
It's not free
do you think
play.
These games will? Mm-hmm.
The multiplayer is, the campaign isn't. You buy the campaign.
Yeah. But yeah, no matter what, you don't need Game Pass or
it's similar to Red Dead, where Red Dead you can buy the game, or you can buy just online. Or no, I'm sorry, just online's free, or you can buy the campaign and online.
So
it's weird.
Even if you don't have Game Pass, you can still play the multiplayer.
Yep. You don't even need gold anymore because they got rid of that. Any game that's free to play, you don't need gold to play.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I'm just curious what you guys think if this is like. I mean, clearly it's a good thing, but do you think this will shift anything? Because it's such
I definitely think that
big
this
property.
is the way that things should go. Okay. But I do know there's 2 specific games that tried something like this before. Not in the same way. Believe it or not, Smite very early on had like a Valentine's Day battle pass, and every year it would reactivate. Meaning you'd keep it was really long, but you'd keep your progress, and they did that for a few years. But Smite's a very old game. They have a lot of ways to experiment with a lot of different things. And early on, it was thought of in Avengers, the challenge cards, that you would buy more of them after you finish them for different costumes and then keep them. Mm-hmm. Like you'd activate which ones you're working on. That was one of the concepts, and then they never went back to it. So those are two
I feel like
specific things that
with
came to
this,
mind.
I think that it's going to depend. I think Halo has the far-reaching fan base that would allow for this kind of a setup.
Right.
I don't think that smaller games will. They need their development money back. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So basically, the way that Halo's banking on this is we're going to make X amount from sales of the campaign. We're going to make X amount from the people who have Game Pass that are going to, continue to give us their $15 a month or whatever it is. And then we're going to have the whales that are going to spend X amount on average for cosmetics in our game. That is the big, I think, dependent part on these games. I think that any kind of free to play based game needs to understand that percentage of who their whales are,
Yep.
how much money they're going to spend, and then how much the average person's going to spend. And then you kind of have to weigh that with the paying all your developers and everything else, and your profit margin, especially if you're publicly traded.
Mhm.
And you have reporting to get out to investors. So I don't think it'll work for everybody. I think
What
if
about
you're a
like
big enough
COD though?
company,
Because they're
for sure they could do
massive.
it. Yeah,
Do you
I
think
think
they
what
will?
that'll come
Because they
down
keep
to,
resisting it.
I
Because it's
I
finally
think
like a competitor.
I think if they see a dip in their sales of games, they may start thinking about a switch over. I don't think you'll ever see it go free to play.
Mhm.
I think the closest you're going to get is like a Warzone for that.
Okay.
But I think like the yearly cadence of games coming out, their multiplayer Call of Duty, like Black Ops or whatever. I don't think they're going to ever go free to play. I think you're going to see instead the elimination of campaigns, so that they don't have to develop or have as many voice actors and that's where they're going to have their cost savings.
Which I think is sad because that's the only thing that would actually bring me into a game.
Yeah, but Call of Duty has never been worth the price of admission for the campaign. Ever. It's
I'm
a
with it. I
4-hour
get that.
I would say it's
campaign.
like $20 campaign
Yeah,
basically.
yeah. Like I'd pay a $20 fee to get in. Yeah, sure. That's like $5 an hour. It's like it's a 4-hour campaign. It's not worth it for the $60 price tag. That $60 price tag was your price of admission for getting online. So I think what you're going to see is they're going to charge you the $60 for the online, and they're just going to dump campaigns to save money. And then you might see the change to the Game Pass, the Battle Pass, to be more similar to Halo if enough people complain, because the power of the people might get to them if enough people complain about it.
The whole genre is just really swamped with, I think, way too many options, and no one has a place to breathe almost in that respect. You're talking Call of Duties, Battlefields, Halos, the whole bit, like the whole
Apex,
gamut of first-person
Destiny.
shooters. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think,
and I've played a bunch of them, and I think they all have a different feel, and I think that's really what it comes down to. Like, you don't see a lot of people that are like, I love all of them. Like, a lot of people are into a very specific set of them. Like, I'd play Warzone before I would play Apex again, just because I don't like the way Apex plays.
The learning curve is pretty brutal.
I would rather play a multiplayer first-person shooter than a battle royale 99% of the time. And I'll never play Fortnite, just on principle.
Yeah, I'm not. I've played Fortnite. I'm not a fan. I've played Apex. I think if it had more to draw me in, I'd probably play it a little more. But Call of Duty is just gotten to a point to where it's just too competitive and too
super
stressful.
sweaty.
Yes, yeah. It's super sweaty. It's just too much for me.
So
I feel the same way about Apex, though. Only Apex has the what I perceive as a pay to win aspect to it, because as a new player coming in, I don't have shit unlocked, and then I'm just getting pounded by these guys that have like all the characters are unlocked, all these special weapons, all this crap that I don't even know what the hell it is.
And the only reason I like
I
some of the Halo multiplayer is because it's nostalgic for me.
All right,
that's fair.
so I do have a question though, because you guys play these games way more than I do. Is it that your skill level brings you up to a point where things are competitive, or do the games start out competitive?
It
They
depends.
for me, they start out competitive. I'm no good at Call of Duty or any of these first person shooters. I'm not good at Halo multiplayer. But I play Halo multiplayer because it's nostalgic for me and I enjoy the game and the lore and everything
Sure.
about it. Call of Duty, I don't have that investment. So I get in it, I play it, I lose a couple games, and I'm just like, eh. Battlefield was kind of okay. We played that together as a group, and Battlefield is based around some historical aspects. So there is already some kind of basis
And it's
around it.
definitely a squad-based game that if you play well as a squad together, you do better.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas Call of Duty is every man for himself. It doesn't matter who's on your team. Like,
Yeah, if you have a
everybody's
superstar,
just
you can win.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It's kind of like soccer. You have a Ronaldo,
Yeah.
you're good. For Call of Duty, it's SBMM, skill-based matchmaking. So you start out like at a 1 or whatever. And then as you play more, it'll like match you with other people. If you do better, it'll keep matching you with better people until eventually you get to a point where like you're kind of like modulating. You'll have like a game where you might not do as well. Then the next game you might do super well, and it kind of like bumps you up and then down and then up and down. Halo has social ranking. Or a social like matchmaking thing where it's just like it just lumps in whoever's there. Like you could be like playing like god tier like pro player, or like some scrub who's like 14 or 11 and he sucks.
Which
and he's
I
half
actually
blind.
prefer that the
It has both.
variation of
Yeah, no, I was gonna keep going. Then there's also arena for at least Halo 5 where you get lumped in, and then it picks like a ranking for you. Then you play with more people that are in that ranking, and if you do better, you can go up to like diamond or obsidian or whatever.
Halo 3 had a like a matchmaking ranking system, but also
Yeah.
had the where you just
Social.
Yeah, I like the
Yeah.
social ones better because I don't know, because you're just in it. You know
It's
what I
fun.
mean?
Yeah, it's really fun.
Yeah.
And they do like crazy game modes like Griff Ball, which is basically like a ball game with hammers and like stuff like that, and like low gravity is hilarious. Or like capture a flag or something like that. Or you can go and play like arena 4v4 super sweaty Halo 5, which I kind of like. It's a pretty hardcore game, to be honest.
I don't enjoy skill-based matchmaking on Call of Duty because it's blind skill-based. Like they don't tell you what rank you are. You're not like silver, gold, whatever. So you have no idea how well you're doing. You can only guess. And then when you get to that one match where you go 3-45 because you've now bumped up to the next level, and everybody there is all sweat lords that have knocked themselves down 3 levels by having crap games on purpose that are really 4.5 KDR players just ripping you apart. Like that sucks. I'd rather it was
Sounds like
just
more issues than I need.
the random. There's two things that I don't like about matchmaking anymore on Call of Duty compared to how it was in the old days. One is the skill based versus just random. I'd rather be random. And two is you don't stick in the same lobby anymore. So if you do get your ass handed to you in one lobby, you don't have the chance to come back and kill those guys again the next game when maybe you're on the map that you like. Which is what you used to be able to do. And you used to be able to build like your team versus their team, talking smack back and forth through each lobby. Oh, are you gonna back out? Oh, yeah, you can dog people, they can dog you. Like, and it wasn't as toxic. Now I think everybody has to get the toxicity out right away because they know this is the only game. So as soon as the end of the game comes, everybody's like, oh, blah blah blah. They need to get their little like shot in quick because they know that you're gonna like match make somewhere else the next game.
That's not too different from Halo and how Halo multiplayer used to be.
Yeah.
Well, Halo 2 is the reason they made private parties, because it got so toxic and disgusting that they literally made parties because of that game.
And
it was horrific, terrible.
You could vote to stay with the people that you just played with, or go to a new lobby.
Yeah,
Yeah, that sounds amazing. Like basically, it's the back out of Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Like where oh, we're getting our ass handed to us in this lobby. Let's back out and get a new lobby. Try and find one that's more on our skill level. Because you'd run until you'd get into a lobby and you'd see 6 people on the other team all with the same clan tag.
Yeah.
You check them out and their KDRs
Yeah.
are all like 2.6. You're like, I don't think we should stick around here. Yeah.
Halo used to have something similar.
Wow.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
see
I
their
gotta
clan
say-
tags and their ranking and stuff, and be like, those guys look good. Maybe we'll lose this.
Oh, they
round."
have the half moon. They're ranked 48 in matchmaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, after listening to all of you guys, because I'm not in this game mode, and a lot of this was Greek to me, I am happy that I'm not in this particular. I'm not a first-person shooter guy. I don't find any of that gameplay kind of appealing.
And that's perfectly fine. And that's why we love you.
Well,
I mean, I think it's fun to get like the aggression out and the competitiveness out. It's not something that I want to do every day, all day. I definitely have more fun playing like a Sea of Thieves or an adventure game.
That's what
But
I
it
like about
is-
Sea of Thieves is that there is a PvP aspect, and it's not always there, and you can go looking for it if you really want to.
Yeah. And you can deny others it if you really want to by going into the Red Sea.
Yeah.
counterpoint. I love SBMM. I'm going to be the opposite. I like it.
Be Sweat Lord. Yeah, we all
I
know
like
it.
sweating in those games because then, like, when you kind of like rise to the occasion, where it's like, all right,
The only
you,
time I
play
like
your face
sweating
off.
is if it's hot outside. And even then, I
hate that.
Kind of don't.
I only like sweating if I'm working out. The other thing is, I feel like it's more true to the game, like the competitive nature of the game, because back in the day, if you were in like a lobby, you could it's called noob stomping, where basically you get matched up in a shitty lobby, like against a really terrible team, and you just crap all over them for like an hour and a half or whatever until they eventually leave because they're tired of getting crapped on. This, you don't really get that. There's no noob stomping. I feel like it's more enjoyable that way for like maybe like a lower skill player. They can play with people like in their, it sounds like demeaning, but they can play with people like their level and like have a competitive game where they feel like they're actually in the game, like in the match, instead of being like, well, I'm going to get boned again. So like, whatever, I'll try my best, but I'm about to go
It's
5 and 10.
Now
now
I'm going to counterpoint your counterpoint, Jeremy, and say skill-based matchmaking is the exact reason why I can't play with you, because you're so much better of a player than me.
Yeah.
So it actually prevents me from playing with my friends because I am the one then getting my face stomped in because you're a 2.4 KDR guy versus me who's like a 1.3.
You're
Like,
not with it.
And I'm like a 0.5.
I totally am. Yeah. So like I can cover that spread a little better in 12v12 because there's more targets for me to kill. But the problem that I run into when I'm in the lobby with you is that you and all the other 2.4 KDR guys are killing the enemy so fast that I actually can't find anybody to kill. I get shot once or twice and I'm already negative. And then I cannot get past that. I can't beat the spread because there's just no targets available. Because you guys are keeping them down so much.
That's like when me and Jeremy play Halo online and with other people. I mean, Jeremy will be at the top of the ranking, and I'll be at the bottom. And some guy at the top, when we lose, some guy at the top will message me, and he's like, "You're trash. You should not be playing this game. Delete it." And I'm like, and it's happened to me a couple times. And one time we lost, and I said to Jeremy, like, "This guy right here, he's gonna message me. Watch." And I said him, and then it happened. And I sent Jeremy a screenshot, and he's like, "Damn. You fucking knew." And I'm like, I know, because I played these games.
Yeah.
But they do need to do team-based like matchmaking, like SBMM better. Like, I don't know, like average it out or something like that. I don't know what their behind the scenes kind of thing is, but
they need to, because then
they need to
like
figure
that
it out, because I literally can't play the game with you, which was the whole reason I bought the game.
Mm-hmm.
So now I have to play by myself. So Call of Duty has now went from being a social game that I played with my friends, because that's literally the only reason I ever got into Call of Duty in the first place, was to play with my friends from work who were like, hey, after we get off work, we all play this game. Come join us. And that's why I started. To now it's a game that I play specifically by myself because of skill-based matchmaking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been asked by people
because anything else isn't fun.
Shooters as well, and my answer was like, no, every time, no.
That's fair.
I thought you
That
played
is
a lot of video
completely
games,
fair.
Ray.
This
Yeah,
is
I
a very
play a lot of video
specific
games.
problem
Just
for
not
a very
FPS.
specific genre, for a very specific title, and that's Call of Duty, which is the only one that I've played that has skill-based matchmaking, and it sucks.
I
For
also
me.
get asked if I play FIFA a
Because
lot.
well, that's because your
That's
head
a
looks like a
big,
soccer
competitive
ball.
sports game.
Yeah. No,
not-
that makes sense.
I'm just kidding. I know you shave your head because you enjoy the aesthetic, not because you're bald.
I'm gonna bring around full circle, but yeah, I think just to wrap it right back around to I think I would be very surprised if we don't see a change in how either Battle Pass or the game, like you pay for the game, from one of the major franchises. Like if Battlefield 2042 or EA came out and they're like, we are also gonna do like a Battle Pass, you pay once and then you can unlock it or whatever. Like, I would be very surprised if nobody changes anything by the end
I
of the
would
year.
be very surprised if they changed.
I
think
Their
COD is going to get
audiences are
a
locked to where they are. Okay, their audiences aren't going anywhere, and they know that because nobody's willing to change up whatever game they got good at ever in this particular arena. They might offer like tiered things where there's a seasonal, but then like I said, like certain themed battle passes that you could just buy and always have access to.
I think COD this year is gonna. They're switching. I think COD's kind of like because there's three different studios. Well, three main studios that work on a game, like a COD game, like cyclically. This one's going to be World War II, which I'm not a huge fan of that. I'm not going to get it. I'm going to be honest. I played World War II because it was the first one in a while, but like I'm not going to play it. Plus, on top of that, it's already well known this game has had major issues in development. They haven't said anything about it yet already. I mean, they don't have to. It's still just summertime. It's just starting. But it's kind of a little bit surprising we're not seeing anything about it, especially since Halo and Battlefield are coming out at the same time as this game, and they're already jostling for like the spot. Battlefield 4 actually, they just had to spool up more servers because so many people are going back to this game because they're hyped to play 2042 that they had to activate more servers, and that game came out 2013, which is pretty. I had no idea. I didn't know it was that long ago. Damn.
Battlefield 2042 is October 22nd release date.
So and then COD always comes out in November sometimes.
Yeah.
But I mean, presumably Halo will be sometime November, most likely. So they're all going to be coming from that spot. I think COD's going to hit like. I think they're finally facing like legit competition from big titles during a year when I think interest in another COD is kind of like low.
Battlefield would have to come out before Halo because everybody's going to.
It is, yeah,
It's
for
going to
sure.
be playing Halo. You know what I mean?
At least trying it out because the hype is actually. I'm surprised. I haven't seen this many people excited for a Halo in a very, very, very long time. Maybe Halo 4, because it was like the new game post 3. But yeah, so I was just curious what you guys thought because I think it will change some things in how the games are monetized, and
it
just
will going forward. I don't think it's going to happen in this particular generation of games, like this coming season. I don't think that's going to change. I think as they move forward in a year, it will. Meaning they'll get rid of in a year these seasonal battle passes and go with a more permanent fixture, but maybe cost a little bit more than the average battle pass.
I can see that happening.
Because most of the games that I have, battle passes are anywhere between $5 and $10. But if they're like 15 or 20, but you get to keep it and it's active, and you're working towards it, make it longer. Yeah, I'd pay that.
Well, we'll see. I guess it's all about the competition, like with the console pricing and things like that, jostling for the spot. But yeah, I was just curious. I think it's pretty cool. I hope we see some changes. It's always nice to see like the industry change, to be more player friendly, more player friendly practices. So I'd like, want to see that more. But yeah.
What else you got for us, Jeremy?
Well, I guess it's probably time we talk about Loki. It's a Loki time.
Okay. Dave, what do we call this segment again since you can't figure it out?
Yeah. Well, yeah. No, I was just asking, are you guys, is that, because I wasn't sure what time Dave had to drop out.
I mean, I think it would be a good Loki time to have a Loki discussion about Loki. a show about
Loki. I'm kind of trying to remember what it was about. See, that's the thing I don't like about the Wednesday, man. We record Saturday.
Wednesday.
I already forgot what happened.
So
Well, Goldfish.
this show.
Wait. First off, spoiler alert for anybody out there that
Well, they
has not
should
seen
know
the
if we're
second
going to talk
episode.
about the show. Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Just throw it out there.
Guys, if you don't want to listen to this, there's going to be, you can just skip to the end or you can, whatever now. There's going to be a separate video on YouTube if you just want to watch the Loki thing later. Like you listened up to this point and you're like, all right, I'm dropping out. I haven't watched the Loki one yet. Check it on YouTube. It's going to be available on Sunday. So it's already out. You could have already watched it by now, maybe. I don't know. Who knows?
Boy.
We're going in the past. Yeah. So if you're dropping out now, thanks for coming on the party. We'll check you later. But if you're staying with us for the Loki segment, welcome back from your bathroom break you might have taken. Unless you're driving, then you probably didn't. Unless you pee in a bottle. Never done that. Anyway, back to what Dave was saying in our discussion about Loki, our Loki discussion about Loki, show about Loki.
Can I say something? Because
No.
this episode was filmed in the same hotel that DragonCon takes place. Takes
I
place.
Really?
noticed that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the scene where they're in the elevator going down, they show the elevator.
Oh,
from the
okay.
external
I was
view.
curious because it
That's
didn't
the
look fake. So I was like, I wonder what
internal
building
of
that is.
Well, the upper part when they come down, and then when they hit the statues, those statues obviously aren't there. But then behind the statues, it goes back infinitely. Well, that stuff's not real. But
Yeah, they replicated it, like made it bigger, but it's definitely.
That's cool.
and you could tell by the carpet because the carpet is like this brown, streaky, stained looking carpet.
Hot.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot to say, so I'm just gonna say I enjoyed it, and I am along for the ride. Basically, that's all. I'm just getting whipped along.
You're not gonna say anything about that big reveal at the end.
That was cool. I kind of saw it coming.
Yeah. They did too.
I mean, they kind of telegraphed a little bit, but yeah, I'm enjoying the ride so far.
Well,
I can't wait to see where it goes. But you guys take.
We were in one of two, whether Loki was going to use all the time bombs to destroy the TVA directly, or set up, like make a whole bunch of branches or whatever. Which we were right. So I wasn't like codified in this. They had spelled it all out for us. I was more, hey, it's one of these, two options or something like that. I'm glad that it worked out that way. I really enjoyed it. We are 2 episodes in out of 6. We only have a month left of Loki.
I just found out it was 6. I was kind of disappointed. Not gonna lie. I was hoping for like an 8.
However, this looks
Well,
like.
I think the difference between this. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No. Go ahead, man.
No, I think the difference between this and your WandaVision and Winter Soldier, Captain America and Winter Soldier. I said Captain America. I think the difference here is that this is specifically going to be setting up the multiverse of madness, the quantum mania. You know what I mean? So I don't think that this can resolve completely. I think some of the storyline will resolve, but I think this is the catalyst that kind of springs all those into life. So I think that's why we're only going to see a 6-issue, a 6-episode series rather than your more standard 10 to 13.
And they explained.
Plus, I'm sure that Tom Hiddleston.
Oh yeah, he's
Wilson. They're probably
is
cash.
a little high.
A-list.
This episode explained a little bit more about what happens to those off branches once they reset them, and because he's in the TVA or outside of his own timeline when that branch was pruned, he can't go back. No, he can't.
Yeah.
There's
nothing to go back to.
There's nothing to go back to. Right. I didn't quite understand that until this episode, because they explained it a little more, and he's not the same Loki that's in, goes to Endgame and stuff like that. It's just wild to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah, they showed a whole bunch of different variant Lokis, like one that wore
that's
won
great.
the Tour de France, one blue one.
I liked his face. He was like,
yeah, like a whole
The Hulk
bunch of
kinda
different
one?
variants. Yeah, like he was gigantic. Yeah,
That was fun.
that was more
Yeah,
of the
I was
Frost
very
Giant
pleased with
side.
that. There was a giant Easter egg in this, and this is just for
What's it, the
people
high
that are
school?
like, what?
No,
The
What'd you
pencil?
say?
no.
The
No,
pencil?
no.
FDR High
I
School.
have a theory that the lizard people timekeepers are baloney. They don't exist.
I kind of
Okay.
got that vibe when they were talking to the one
Well,
lady in the office.
firm proof here. The statue in the middle looks a lot like the actor that was cast as Kang.
Mhm.
And Judge Ravona, who said that she's in contact with the timekeepers, is Kang's queen. That's her name in the comics. Like she's the
Just
love
like a
interest
woman.
of Kang. I think Kang. Back me up here. See if you think about this. Kang has been setting up this timeline to continue the way it is, so he becomes ruler of the timeline. Meaning, Thanos had to lose. Like the Avengers had to mess with time enough to be able to start this whole thing, so that way he can control everything going after it. And that's the reason why he's pruning the rest of the multiverse, because he wants no entanglements whatsoever. He wants no outside help. If it's just this one timeline, he ends up winning.
Yeah.
That's I think Kang at the very end of things will be the big.
Oh, Kang's gonna be part of it for sure.
Of the show, or
No, not
I
of the
don't know.
show.
I don't know if it's part of the show.
The first phase.
yeah,
Or even the
With
second
Bastards
phase, actually,
before.
because the first phase looks like the first part of the phase 4, looks like it's going to be dealing with the multiverse, as opposed to, hey, we're in the multiverse now. What else is out there? So I have a feeling that this Loki thing actually screws things up for Kang.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to go so far as to say that the timekeepers don't exist, but I will say that what if Kang has taken over and replaced them?
Or they're
That I
being
can see as well.
or they're being
I'd go with that.
controlled by him, like created
Yeah.
and controlled by him.
Mhm.
Like maybe they were never real, but they're there.
Any
They
of
were
these?
created.
Yep. Any of those options, I'm okay with. Endgame, the end of the line is Kang. I shouldn't say Endgame anymore when talking about this stuff.
Yeah.
It's confusing.
Another theory I had
Yeah.
was, what if the person behind all of this sacred timeline is another Loki
That's another good possibility.
that runs the TVA and everything? He's just another Loki, and he's hunting his versions down.
so he stays in power because he's
So
trying
is
to
it like the
usurp
one?
them.
The more he kills, the
Yeah.
more the powerful he gets.
Yeah.
The Highlanders,
Jet Li
if they're
movie.
the only one.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
pretty funny, huh? I do like that too. Do you think? Yeah, I think though. I don't know.
I don't think they would do that because that never happened in the comics.
So, what about this? Do you think that truly is Lady Loki, or do you think that's Enchantress?
You know what? That's exactly what Liz said. That's Enchantress. I didn't think that. I just thought it was Lady Loki, but she's blonde and the name and no.
At some
Doesn't
point,
quite-
she said,
Yeah,
"Don't call
nothing
me
quite
that."
matches.
They called her. He called her Loki, and he said, "Don't call me that." I think.
Also, the mind control. There.
I think they took both characters and mixed them together, and that may not be her original body. It's just the one that she goes to and from with.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Could be. There's a lot of stuff here. You know who Enchantress is, Jeremy?
No,
Like a super
God.
old Thor villain, like a legit one. She was in love with Thor and tried to force him to marry her a number of
So
times.
take
but she's called
Scarlet
Enchantress for a
Witch
reason. Yeah.
and change her into a green outfit,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
and that's Enchantress.
Oh, okay, makes sense.
Pretty much legitimately, like that's the only difference is
Yeah.
the color of
By the
their
way, don't do that.
outfit.
It makes your head look huge.
Look like
Also,
a baby.
it looks like you look like what's his face from what was that show?
He looks like Boner from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, like the friend, right? Wasn't his name Boner? Or was that a different? No, that was a different show.
Boner
Had
was,
Boner
I
as
think,
the-
Family Ties.
Yeah, something like that. No,
I
but he
was-
looks like the friend, the one with the flip up glasses.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Oh,
Dwayne Wayne.
just-
That's a different
yeah.
world.
I was thinking of what's his face from the show with
I don't know what you guys are talking about. He lost me in Enchantress. He
Mario.
Still kept me.
What's the guy's name?
Who? Mario.
It's a me,
Mario
Mario.
Like Mario Lopez?
Yeah.
Slater from
Oh.
Saved by the Bell.
Yeah. Not
Oh,
not
wow.
him, but what was the character's name in that? The goofy one?
Slater, Screech, Zach,
Screech.
Kelly.
Screech. Wow, he said you look like Screech.
Ooh,
Yep.
wow. That
Ooh.
hurts. Jesus
That's
Christ.
right. You have pedo face.
Anyway,
Apparently.
thank you for coming to the show with Jeremy, Dave, and Ray. Bryan, he unfortunately had to go. Yeah, it's crazy. These things happen, though. Sometimes
Wasn't-
people just split off.
Wasn't Enchantress in the one Wolverine movie?
No. She hasn't made a live action appearance. Actually, she did make one live action appearance, which was Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Sif was hunting her down.
Who? All right. So then, in the one Wolverine movie, where he's in like Japan or whatever, who was that chick then?
That's
Riku?
Yeah, like the Silver Samurai's daughter or whatever.
The chick that could see in the future? Is that what you're talking about? Because that was the only other girl that was in there.
I don't know, but I'm pretty sure we made a pact never to talk about Wolverine Origins.
Hold on. That one was good.
Yeah.
Wolverine Origins is the one that sucks.
I'm not
The
talking
Wolverine
about
where he went to
Origins.
Japan was pretty good.
No, they all suck.
No, they
Wait.
did not.
With Old
If
Man
there's
Wolverine?
a Fox logo in front of it, no, that's the only
no,
one.
the
No,
one
yeah,
where-
you see,
It's
the
just
only
called the
one that
Wolverine.
actually sucks. Yeah, the only one that actually sucks is Wolverine's Origin.
And
Oh,
X
Oh, Deadpool
one,
at the end.
two,
The real Deadpool at the
three.
end.
But the
You
one
mean
with the
Mimic?
samurai and the ninjas and the whole bit, and he goes to Japan, that shit was dope. I loved it. I loved the visuals on it and everything. It was really good. And it was a really good
Garbage.
story for him that led directly into Logan.
They fucked up Silver Samurai, made it into
Yeah.
a giant transformer.
Bro, it's
Uh,
Fox's X-Men. They fucked up Wolverine, and he got his own movie.
Yeah.
Multiple.
You can't go by that.
There's so many shits that we can take all over the Wolverine franchise.
Oh, the X-Men franchise in general.
Yeah.
Correct. See what you did, Jeremy? You caused all this.
With my ignorance.
Yes.
Anyway, welcome back to the party, everybody but
Yeah.
Bryan, because he called Jeremy Screech.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm offended.
I was
Yeah.
pedo face.
Just
New and improved.
well, he's dead, so Screech is dead, so we don't even have to worry about it anymore.
It wasn't Enchantress.
Rest
it was
in peace.
Viper.
Oh, yeah. Lady Viper?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, no,
So-
Enchantress is a completely different beast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
different green outfit.
Yeah.
So what if we change it from Screech to Squeak from basketball?
Oh, I like that. I like
Yeah,
that.
we'll do that. All right.
You know what? Because I say it so often, we should just call him Smalls from The Sandlot.
Ah,
There you
yeah,
go, yeah.
Smalls.
Because he did have
Yeah.
that goofy hat playing baseball.
Huh?
Yeah, he did.
You're killing me, Smalls.
You're killing me, Smalls.
Jeremy's like, I've already made mental note where I'm cutting this all off. You better not edit this.
I can't
out.
wait to
I'm
edit
gonna
this.
know. I'm
No,
gonna know.
man. No, I won't. No, I won't. I won't. I leave it all in there. We got to bear it all. We bear our souls on this episode, on this show. So I don't want to cut things out, you know. Except for
So-
Bryan's little side things we always cut out. We won't talk about though. The things he says.
So while I look forward to the rest of it, this is so far not my favorite Marvel show.
Really?
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, Falcon and Captain America and Winter Soldier for you, probably.
So far,
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I
and not
mean,
because of that, but because it's more consistent. It wasn't trying to remake the wheel. It wasn't trying to advertise for what's coming up. It was just telling a story that, needed to be told before the next movie. Not, hey, because I get the feeling that this is all getting set up to be like, to be continued in the movie, guys. You know, it just kind of feels that way.
Oh, it
It
definitely
feels like,
is. That's the way
Yeah.
I feel about it. I like I said before, we had the steak and potatoes that was the Falcon and Winter Soldier show. That was that could have been its own next movie. Like you could have formatted that a little differently, and that could have been the new Captain America movie.
Yeah.
I'm
glad they let it breathe, but
Action
yeah, I get
packed.
what you're saying.
Yeah, if with some editing, I think that could have been a nice 3-hour movie, probably.
3 hours.
Wouldn't let
Jesus
Zemo dance.
Christ.
That's the problem.
I mean, that's the status quo for 2.5,
I guess
3
Endgame
hours.
was 2.5 hours, like twice or whatever.
Yeah, so even they could probably cut it down even more. But then you had the deep character focus of the Wanda Vision, which was very nice. But that was a very self-contained kind of small story,
Right.
not world sweeping or anything. Like it
I
affected
don't know.
a smaller.
I like this one better than the other two.
No, yeah.
I am on the
This
same
one's
page
actually
with
the
that.
weakest for me. I liked WandaVision more than this. WandaVision caught me more than this did. Like, I kind of... Maybe it's just Loki as a character, but I never liked him. I like Tom Hiddleston, and I like hating Loki, but
No, I like Loki.
I actually find that I'm waiting to see what Owen Wilson's going to say more than Tom Hiddleston in the show.
He is a steam stealer. For sure.
Yeah.
Tom Hiddleston. Or, Owen.
This show has some of the fantasy elements that I'm looking for more than WandaVision did. You know, with like the Greek mythology and the gods, and and I don't know. It just I'm here for it, and that's I like it.
I'm going to watch it. I have a ton of questions, but I have a feeling I'm not going to get a lot of answers.
Well, like for me, like I think I can pinpoint exactly why this isn't thrilling me as much. I feel like I'm more excited by the Fantastic Four part of the next phase rather than the continuation of this multiverse and Doctor Strange and Ant-Man, because I love the Fantastic Four and I would really like to see an actual good movie made of them. So the anticipation of that is kind of outweighing my, I'm still going to be all in, I'll watch every one of these movies and TV shows. They got me for life. But like my anticipation's more on the Fantastic Four side, so I don't think that this is carrying as much weight with me as even though Loki's one of my favorite. I have statues of Loki, like the comic book character Loki, not Tom Hiddleston, but like he's always been one of my favorites. Like I loved Thor and Loki, and like I don't know. It's not hitting me quite as deep as I thought it was going to. So I think
Makes sense.
I think it's because there's so many unknowns, but it's not the kind of unknowns that people are talking about around the water cooler like WandaVision was. Everybody had like speculation, right? This one seems like it's going kind of on rails. Everybody knows the general direction of it. Nobody's really talking as much about it.
That's why I like
There's
it. It's a return to form for me.
Yeah, but hopefully in episode 3 they throw the wrench in. Because it's been too formulaic for it to be a Loki show. Maybe that's what's throwing me off. Like,
I would
I'm
like
agreeing with you, Dave. Yeah, it just seems okay. What else do you got here?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I
agree
there
with
could
Bryan.
be a ton of twists coming. So
I like it as well. It's my favorite so far.
Yeah.
I just like how it's shot. I love the characters, the writing,
Falcon
and the
and the Winter
dialogue.
Soldier is still my number one, followed closely by.
I like that a lot, but it felt like that's a Marvel property. Like this is Marvel, and it felt like the Marvel movie. Like they had the Marvel signature on it. This is like weird enough where it's like a different flavor, which is also why I liked WandaVision, because it did something new and like something weird. And Loki's also something weird and different.
Yeah,
and Captain America was Captain America and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That was a really well crafted like Marvel experience but it was like definitively Marvel.
Well,
like you knew
that
it was Marvel.
The
every
reason
single
that
second.
the reason that whole show had to be done is because this whole tale of how Sam resolves the whole shield
No, yeah.
bearing
No, that's fine. Like I
before
still liked
another
it.
movie comes in, and all of a sudden, Sam shows up with a shield.
Right.
Average
Yeah,
moviegoer is going to be like, "What the hell just happened?"
No, yeah, that's fine. But I just
Yeah.
like it was like 100% a Marvel property. Whereas Loki, if you like switch up the characters, like if you're like, oh, this is Bilbo or something. So yeah, like it could have been someone else, and you wouldn't be able to tell it was like a Marvel show because it's like, oh, this is something different.
Okay. I've already seen Loki's redemption arc. That's why it's not doing anything for me.
Right.
The way you just said that just framed it all for me. I've already seen him go good. I don't care. Like all
That's
the
fair.
other ones have character arcs that I was interested in seeing.
I don't think he. I don't.
But he
think
went
this is
good
a
and then
redemption.
got murdered.
I don't think this is a
Immediately.
redemption story for him, though. I don't think he's gonna be the hero of this show.
But that's the way it's set up right now. So based on the direction the formula should take it,
Right.
Loki should save the day, right? So that's why he doesn't have a vested interest in it versus the first time he saw the redemption arc, which ended with Thanos and no, resurrections this time.
Yeah.
So I get it. I get what he's saying because Wanda was a whole new arc for those guys. They were kind of background ancillary characters back in the day. That was like an arc about the grief and everything and the fallout of Endgame. Whereas Falcon Winter Soldier was about Sam's journey from being the sidekick to the head honcho.
Right.
And Bucky's acceptance of that and acceptance of who he is and that he wasn't responsible for the Winter Soldier's actions because he was brainwashed. This one, though, like we already saw Loki make that journey, so I see what he's saying. Like I can maybe that's subconsciously the same reason I'm kind of like not as checked in as with the other two.
But
I'm not saying that I don't like it. I love it. I'm just like with you guys. You guys are more of the I'm gonna give this the 10 because this is the best thing. Where I'm like this is a 7.2 because I know that I need some room for the next best thing. You know what I mean? So I gotta
I get it.
Jeremy, you're a brilliant lad. You are my muse. I love you, bro. Thank you. You actually nailed it for me without even realizing that you did.
Oh, stop.
See?
But what about the end of this episode where he goes through the portal with Loki girl / Enchantress, like ostensibly like disobeying Owen Wilson and like could be making a power play. Could still be going for that.
They've literally foreshadowed it in that episode. Yeah. Loki, you've stabbed people in the back like 50 times.
Yeah, but he could be the bad guy. He could still kill. I think the TVA is bad. So.
Yeah. No, I mean,
I literally don't think he's gonna be the hero. I don't think this is a redemption story for him because he saw himself die in the sacred timeline
after he got redemption. So maybe he doesn't want to get redemption.
Right.
I don't think that's going to be the case. He saw his actions and what they wrought is really. He saw what his actions did, which were the death of his mother, the death of his people, the destruction of his lands. Even though he died, he saw everything he knew die because of him.
He doesn't need powers to be manipulative.
Yeah,
one of his powers is being manipulative, and he doesn't need, a physical manifestation of those powers. He can. I
think it's still up in the air. I feel like you guys are very assured of where it's going to go. I feel like it's still up in the air. Maybe that's why I'm an England.
I think that they've already telegraphed that the thing that Loki wants more than anything is an audience with the Timekeepers. I don't think that he would put that in jeopardy by joining forces with the other Loki. I think what's going to happen is he's going to do something over there to prove himself to the Timekeepers, the TVA, so that he can try and get that audience.
But this
I
Loki's
think that's a more likely scenario than him becoming an actual villain in this, where you'll have two villainous Lokis at once. I
feel like because like she's a step ahead of the TVA, right? It is a TVA, right? I'm not. Okay,
Yeah.
she's ahead of them, like beating them ostensibly. Then maybe he just sees like that's the power play, like that's his avenue to the timekeepers because he sees her winning.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to
Right now,
lose either.
he's more curious than anything.
So
Hold on, guys. You have to understand. He knows he's dealing with a Loki. He knows this isn't going to end well. So it's either he gets out and that's just an escape route, or he kills her.
What if
Like,
he
there's
waits
no
till they get
teaming
to the
up.
timekeepers and then he kills her? Like that's his play.
Yeah,
He wants to wait till he gets
they're
a good
using
spot.
each
Then
other. That's the whole point, right? I
Yeah.
mean, that's probably what the next couple of episodes is actually going to be about. Like, who the hell's
I
telling
think the next one's going to be about them. I don't know, but I don't know. I think it's still up in the air relatively. And I don't know if it'll lead to a thing
all of us.
necessarily.
Everything we said is just wrong, and it's going to go in a
Cool.
completely different direction.
I'm okay
We
with
were
that.
wrong
too.
about WandaVision.
Hey,
Oh yeah.
Well, you guys
I'm
were.
happy to be
I
wrong.
was too dumb to come up with anything, so too ignorant. So I couldn't even. You're like Maleficent or whatever, Balrog or something. I forget.
Oh my god.
It was Agatha Harkness. Stop it.
Mephisto.
You did call that out.
Mephisto,
I think you
Mephisto.
talked about
Yeah,
Mephisto.
we
Mephisto.
got-
Yeah. You did get Agatha though. That was pretty clutch. I don't know. I like this. I like how it's going. I'm a sucker for cinematography. I really like how it's shot, like
Sure.
the style and everything. I love all of that. So
Yeah.
so far, my
like-
favorite. I think it's
I think
different.
I like the style of the TVA, how it's like kind of like retro, but not retro, like a modern
I like the
retro.
design a lot.
Even though they're the bad guys, more likely than not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely think they're bad guys. Call back to the last episode where I think
I
they're
don't
bad.
know. It's just there's a lot about this show that I like. I think I like this show more because there's more there's more setting to it than WandaVision. Like WandaVision was just contained in one town. You know
Like
what
the
I mean?
world building's better.
World, everything. There's just so much more to it.
It's juicier. It's thicker. It's
I
extra
like
thick.
the mystery of WandaVision versus this.
Really?
That I'm gonna say. Yeah.
I feel like we're also a little bit tainted though with WandaVision, and I feel like everybody was because it was the first Marvel thing that we got to see in like a year and a half or whatever. So like there's that natural excitement of, hey, this is a new Marvel
Well,
thing. It's super dope.
I'm a natural.
This is the third one.
I'm a pop culture guy, so I'm a TV file. That struck chords with me over this. I was looking at Easter eggs from certain things like the changing of aspect ratios to, couples never shared a bed in the 50s, only in the 60s. You know, things like that. Like,
I liked how that was shot too.
yeah, like there was a
The
lot of
first couple
stuff in there for someone that knows TV history like me. So that's why I enjoyed WandaVision so much.
Right.
So, you know,
But-
I'm
No,
not
that's
I'm not
our,
downing Loki. I'm just saying it's not my favorite out of the
To
three
each his
right
own.
now. Yeah.
If you want to tell Ray how wrong he is, just join our Discord, and
That'd be
we have
bro.
a TV and movie section where you can yell at him angrily, use
a good
all
idea.
these gifs and emojis. But yeah, so that's our little discussion about Loki
GIFs.
episode 2.
Wow.
Whatever. Well, let me email the creator of the gifs real quick.
Just because he created doesn't mean he's
Giraffe.
correct. Pronunciation.
Giraffe.
Hey,
We already had this
Yes, thank
discussion,
you,
episode 3. But yeah, anyway, thanks for listening to our discussion of Loki episode 2. Come back next week for the next episode of Loki and the next episode of the podcast. Who knows what it's going to be? It could be anything. We're crazy. Yeah. Thank you for coming to the party after I say a few things. Discord link in the description, YouTube link in the description, Instagram. I'm just going to say Instagram. Yeah. So thank you for coming to the party. Peace.
Later, yo.
Bye.
Deuces.
Okay.
Yeah, make sure we got that. I gotta go. I'm running late now.
Yep.
What's up, yo? Yeah, it's my regular hair. Don't worry about it. Well, thank you for making it all the way to the end of the video or like skipping ahead. It's pretty dope. Hope you enjoyed this episode. If you want to check us out, you can hear us on a higher quality version every Wednesday. We have a drop of a new episode. Sometimes we have bonus stuff, like we did a bonus Loki E3 stuff because there's too much for one episode, and we want to talk about it right away. We get excited like you guys. So yeah, click on one of these other videos, subscribe so you can see other content, like our cut content. I drop it mostly every Wednesday, depends on what we got going on. Maybe there's just nothing there. Maybe we just start, we get the ball rolling. One clean, no wipe, you know. Yeah, so thanks for checking us out. Hope to see you again. Bye.